President Trump says the claim by Iran's leader that it won the war in Israel and delivered a slap in the face to the U.S. is a lie. Fox's Steve Harrigan reports from Qatar with a look at what is next for Iran almost a week after those airstrikes on its nuclear facilities. This as their foreign minister is agreeing with the American leader in assessing the damage from those strikes as excessive and serious.
While assessments continue over the level of damage to Iran's nuclear program, assessments are also being made to the political damage to Iran's supreme leader, who emerged from 10 days in a bunker looking haggard, but vowing to strike U.S. military assets in the event of further attacks.
Coming out of this experience, the supreme leader may remain a leader. He certainly will not be supreme.
Iran's top diplomat said the possibility of new negotiations with the U.S. on his country's nuclear program has been complicated by the American attack, which he conceded caused serious damage. But President Trump says the meeting will go ahead.
Iran wants to meet. As you know, their sites were obliterated. They're very evil nuclear sites. The last thing they're thinking about right now is nuclear. You know what they're thinking of? They're thinking about tomorrow, trying to live in such a mess.
The U.S. was one of the parties to the 2015 nuclear deal, in which Iran agreed to limits on its uranium enrichment program in exchange for sanctions relief and other benefits. Experts agree that negotiations are the way forward.
The United States is switching to a diplomatic track, and the diplomatic track is actually in Iran's interest because it removes the possibility, at least for the moment, of being militarily attacked once more.
Iran's foreign minister just posted if President Trump genuinely wants to deal with Iran, he should drop his disrespectful tone towards the Ayatollah, or else, the foreign minister warned, Iran could unveil its real capabilities. In Qatar, Steve Harrigan, Fox News.
We are getting an inside look at the preparations for President Trump's Golden Dome. He proposed missile protection systems is similar to Israel's Iron Dome, and the company behind this project is based in Salt Lake City. Earlier in the week, the biggest, most powerful solid rocket booster ever built was tested, and the president of the company says the Golden Dome could come sooner than anyone expects.
Golden Dome is going to need small, medium, and large solid rocket motors, and we have the capacity today to develop, test, and field those motors. We've built 1.3 million to date. We're the largest producer in the world. And what you saw today was an example of what we can do that happens to be for human exploration, but we can bring that for national security and for the Golden Dome.
Israel's Iron Dome missile defense system, which has been in use heavily over the last couple of weeks, is land-based. The Golden Dome would take it up a notch and be partially based in space. The Supreme Court ended its term with some major decisions, including one limiting the power of federal judges. The ruling also impacts the future of birthright citizenship. Fox's Rebecca Castor is at the Supreme Court to break it all down.
This case centered on two major issues, nationwide injunctions and birthright citizenship. The justices did not weigh in on whether President Trump's ban on birthright citizenship is legal. Instead, they ruled lower courts do not have sweeping authority to influence policy across the country.
I want to just thank again the Supreme Court for this ruling. It's a giant.
The Trump administration is celebrating after the Supreme Court ruled Friday to limit nationwide injunctions, a legal tool federal judges have used to block at least 40 of the president's policies this term.
Here, the Supreme Court is agreeing with the Trump administration that these judges are well past their authority given to them.
Thanks to this decision, we can now promptly file to proceed with numerous policies that have been wrongly enjoined on a nationwide basis.
One of those policies is Trump's executive order ending birthright citizenship for children born to parents in the U.S. illegally. But this ruling doesn't mean the ban goes into effect immediately. The court put a 30-day hold on it, giving time for more legal challenges.
Most likely, that will be decided in October in the next session.
The court's 3 liberal judges dissented. Justice Sonia Sotomayor says the parents of children covered by the citizenship order would be well advised to file promptly class action suits and request temporary injunctive relief. Today, the justices also ruled that parents have the right to opt their children out of classes on LGBTQ topics, and insurance companies must continue to offer free preventative health services, a key Obamacare measure. At the Supreme Court, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
The Trump administration is expanding a militarized zone along the southern border to include a 250-mile stretch in Texas. The Texas Tribune reports the National Defense Area spans 2 Texas counties and runs near the cities of Brownsville and McAllen. It will be treated as an extension of a joint base San Antonio, and military responsibilities in the area will include enhanced detection and monitoring and temporarily detaining trespassers until they're transferred to the appropriate authorities. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says the new trade deal with China announced is a big win for both countries and could lead to other major deals with American trading partners. Fox's Madeline Rivera has more from Washington.
This is the centerpiece of fair trade.
The White House taking a victory lap on Friday after President Trump announced he signed a new trade deal with China. The full details haven't been announced yet, but it's focused on lowering American tariffs on Chinese imports in exchange for concessions from China on shipments of rare earth minerals to the U.S.
Part of the agreement was tariffs coming down and rare earth magnets starting to flow back to the U.S. They form the core of a lot of our industrial base.
But it's still not clear what the final tariffs on Chinese goods will be. Right now, it's 10% under a temporary deal with Beijing, but that expires in August. And the Chinese government says it expects to see significant tariff relief after that.
We hope that the United States side will work with China to implement the important consensus reached.
And with the China deal almost done, the president is now pivoting to other major trading partners.
We're having some great deals. We have one coming up, maybe with India, very big one, where we're going to open up India.
European leaders also met Thursday for talks aimed at finalizing a new trade deal with the U.S. There had been major sticking points over tariffs on steel and aluminum exports, as well as luxury goods like wine and chocolate. But now the EU says it wants to get an agreement in place as soon as possible.
Our message today is clear. We are ready for a deal.
President Trump has set a July 9th deadline for world leaders to make a deal, or he says tariffs will go up significantly. In Washington, Madeline Rivera, Fox News.
After more than a month, the trial of Sean Diddy Combs is coming to a close. His defense team delivered their closing arguments, attempting to poke holes in the case and calling the charges exaggerated. Fox's Connor Hansen has more.
On week 7 of his sex trafficking trial, music mogul Sean Combs looked on as his lawyers made their final case. They accused prosecutors of creating a fake trial, over-exaggerating Diddy's recreational drug use and swinger lifestyle, calling it racketeering. Diddy's attorney also poked fun at a high-profile raid of his home where agents seized hundreds of bottles of baby oil.
I think that racketeering charge is going to be difficult for them. It's difficult for most juries. It's hard to understand. I think that there was enough holes poked by the defense to say it's possible that they are not going to come back with a guilty on that racketeering.
Prosecutors have spent more than a month saying Combs operated his company like a criminal enterprise. They argue a long list of crimes ranging from arson to kidnapping amount to a racketeering conspiracy. Much of the trial centered around Combs' troubled relationship with singer Cassie Ventura. Shocking video showed Combs drag her through a hotel hallway. His attorney acknowledged that domestic abuse happened, but argued that it was not sex trafficking. Now it will be up to a New York City jury to wade through the complex case.
I'm not saying that the elements do not fit. It's just it's going to take some creative arguments on the part of the prosecution.
After receiving detailed instructions, the jury will start deliberating on Monday. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox News.